he'll never leave. And there are people on the right pushing. The American Conservative magazine has...
He hasn't conceded the 2020 election yet. What do you mean how? You make it sound like it's a crazy idea.
No,
he has not conceded the one he did lose.
I'll concede it because it's very obvious who the president is. It's very obvious Joe Biden is the president, presiding over 20% increases in gas and groceries, presiding over 22% increases in health care, 36% in car insurance. I mean, people can't afford the natural accoutrements of an adult life, which is why young people have abandoned Biden. So it's very clear Donald Trump is not the president. Our economy sucks. The border is open. 8.8 million people came here. That's larger than the population of 39 states. It's insane. We know who the president is.
We will get to all these issues. But right now...
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Kellyanne Conway coming off the top rope on Bill Maher, okay? In the middle of his Trump deranged rant, complaining about, hey, Trump hasn't conceded the 2020 election yet, right? Because, again, they're asking the question of whether or not Trump would leave office if he is reelected. Now, again, this is a fear-mongering tactic from the mainstream liberal media to make it seem like, well, if Trump gets elected, then Trump's going to become king and he's never going to leave office. Although none of these people can tell you exactly how he would do that, right? How exactly would he do that? And why didn't he do that when he already was president? Okay, if Trump actually really wanted to be an authoritarian, he would have done so during the pandemic, right? That was the time for him to say, hey, I'm going to be an authoritarian because of the pandemic. He didn't do that in the middle of the pandemic. He didn't do that after January 6th. He left office, okay? And there's no doubt in my mind that if Trump is elected again, that he's going to leave office at the end of his term, especially considering how he's going to be in his 80s, right? I'm pretty sure he's not going to be sitting in his 80s wanting to be president of the United States forever, right? I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think that's what Trump wants, but who knows? I don't know, okay? I mean, I'm just saying that's not what I would want. If I'm 80 years old and I got a supermodel wife, I think I would want to spend my last few years, okay, my last years, enjoying my life, not stressing myself out. But who knows? I mean, with the Democrats and their constant witch hunts against Trump, that could motivate him to want to be in office forever, especially considering how they continue to try to throw these politically motivated charges against him, right? And I'm pretty sure they're not going to stop. They're going to continue to do it until he's in jail, okay? They literally want Trump to die in prison. That's what they want. And it's really sick and disgusting how Trump deranged these individuals are and the lengths they will go to get him removed from society, okay? This is what they want. But anyways, we got to talk about this segment from Bill Maher and Kellyanne Conway and some other guy, some other liberal, who was going to discuss the issues that Joe Biden is facing right now versus Trump, right? And the fact that Trump is beating Biden in the polls, okay? He's beating Biden on the issues and is only getting worse for Biden because the far left is out of control. So I want to talk about it, but before we get into it, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, Noble Gold. The US dollar has lost 20% of global foreign exchange reserves, and our national debt is quickly approaching $35 trillion. No, our economy is not in great shape. Those stunning job reports that are released by the government are artificial part-time jobs. Our increasing GDP is driven by spending money that we printed. Our economy is failing and nobody is listening. Save yourself, save your family, save your future with gold. From central banks to billionaires, gold is the hedge that everybody runs to. Noble Gold can help you. From day one, you work with the same dedicated all-American expert. Whether you're a beginner or you're an expert, Noble Gold Investments will make sure that you get all the help that you need. And this month, Noble Gold Investments will give away a free gold coin to everyone who opens up a qualified account. Just use promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com. That is noblegoldinvestments.com. And just remember, there's a risk with every investment and there's no guarantee of any kind.
But on the issue of war in Israel, he is in a solid position, at least when it comes to public opinion.
Well, I work for the most pro-Israel president in American history. But look, I think that...
That's true.
He was very critical of Netanyahu.
That's true. Sounds like Biden is not pro-Israel either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Which position is he today? But look, on the protesters, the White House didn't seem to mind it or matter much or say anything until the optics went against him. They're worried about the political fallout for Biden instead of the fact that these spoiled brats pretend it's about free speech, it's about free stuff. Bring me lotion and vegan food. They never once said release the hostages. They never are making demands that would actually help other people.
Yeah. So, I agree with Kellyanne Conway in the sense that, the Biden administration, they really don't care about, the morality of the conflict or the releasing of hostages or whether or not a ceasefire is in America's best interest or not. They never make any of the arguments from that perspective, right? At all. Okay. They don't care about any of that. The only thing they really care about is, well, this makes Biden look bad, right? And this is why Biden, in this situation, he isn't really coming out in good light because it seems like he's just trying to do whatever politically benefits him. And he doesn't actually really have any real convictions in regards to this conflict and a stance, right? A real stance. And this is why, again, in the ideal scenario, you have the commander in chief talk about, okay, what is it that we should do in America's best interest? Okay. Not in any other country's best interest, not because of the morality of it. No. What is it that we should do? What is it that we should support that is in America's best interest and articulate that argument, right? That is something that I think is missing from this broader conversation, right? Everybody wants to make the argument from the perspective of, well, what's best for the Palestinians? What's best for the Israelis? And I'm like, well, what's best for America, right? That's where I'm at, okay? What's best for us? Tell me, what's best for us? I don't want to hear anything about what's best for any side except America, okay? That's all I want to hear. So that's the mistake that I think that Joe Biden is making is that, well, if you're not going to take a side, right? If you're not going to be overtly pro-Israel or overtly pro, the Palestinians or Hamas, right? I guess you could say that some of these people are pro-Hamas, a lot of them. If you're not going to do that, okay, if you're going to try to thread the needle, at least come at it from, okay, well, this is what I think should happen. This is what I support from an America first perspective, right? Like, this is what is best for America, and this is where I'm at. But what he's doing is actually just pissing off everybody, right? He's pissing off the, pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine people, right? And he's pissing off the pro-Israel people too. He's just pissing everybody off, okay? That's why you have all these videos going viral of both sides saying, F Joe Biden.
Fuck Joe Biden! So you're voting for Trump! Fuck Joe Biden! Are you voting for Trump? Are you voting for Trump?
Right, because he's just alienated everybody. Okay, nobody likes Joe Biden at this point. Okay? I find it hard to believe this guy can actually win this election in 2024. I just don't think it's possible at this point. I really don't. It's just too much. It really is, and it could have happened to a better guy because he took advantage of these woke extremists in 2020 to beat Trump. Right, so now it's like, okay, well, the pendulum has swung the other way, and it's happening to you. And that's why I don't feel bad about it. I'm just like, hey, well, it is what it is.
I'm with you on that, but that's not what we're talking about. Look, I am. This stuff is. I'm so incensed about some of this stuff because when I read about the college loans.
Yes.
I can't. Where's the stat on this? Oh, Biden administration's student debt cancellation will cost a combined $870 billion to $1.4 trillion. That's a lot of debt forgiveness.
Unfair.
Okay, so colleges constantly raise tuition. Then the kids take out more loans. Then the government comes by and pays those loans. Okay, so my tax dollars are supporting this Jew hating?
No, you
I don't
support
think
all the
so.
tents. No.
Wow. See, again, this is what annoys me about these individuals, right? It's like, well, Biden's student loan debt forgiveness policy is unconstitutional, first and foremost. But also, second, again, it's bad policy, as Bill Maher points out. But it's not bad policy because it supports Jew hating, right? It's just bad policy because it's bad policy, okay? It should have been something that Bill Maher was speaking out about, which he has before. He has actually spoken against student loan debt forgiveness before, so I'll give him credit for it. But I'm just saying, like, it's just bad policy because it's bad policy, right? It's not fair to Americans, right? Taxpaying citizens who chose not to go to college or paid off their student loans or are currently paying off their student loans or, doing the right thing. It's not fair, okay? You're stealing money. But it's just so funny to me how throughout, again, this whole conflict, the left all of a sudden becomes reasonable when it comes to this idea that, hey, maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't support people who are extremists that commit acts of violence, which, again, was not a popular opinion on the left. when the BLM riots were happening, when the Roe v. Wade riots were happening, when the Antifa riots were happening. They're like, well, if you don't support the violence, then you're racist, right? This is what they were telling us, okay? Or you hate women. This is what they're saying. Now, all of a sudden, again, when you have these protests against Israel, now all of a sudden they realize that, oh, well, this is a bad thing, okay? We shouldn't be allowing this, that this has gotten out of control. Oh, now all of a sudden Bill Maher is talking about how, student loan debt forgiveness, probably not good policy, okay? Probably does not have good incentives in regards to colleges lowering their costs when they know that students are just going to get an unlimited amount of money from the government, okay, and the government's just going to forgive it, and then the college and university is just going to raise costs again, and then students will take out more debt, and then the government will pay for it and then forgive it. Like, I mean, I could have told you that was a bad policy without saying anything about paying for hating Jews, right? I'm just saying, I'm just annoyed by a lot of these people. I really am, because all this stuff was bad before all this, okay? It was bad before.
No, I agree with you completely. Now people are really upset. By the way, it was never fair. You can't have plumbers and pipe fitters paying for the student loans of doctors and lawyers. It's not fair. And
Boom, Kellyanne. Thank you for mentioning that, right? That's what it's really about. Not bad policy because it supports bigotry and hate, right? That's not why it's bad policy. It's bad policy because it's unfair to taxpayers, okay? It's unfair to people who work hard and didn't go to college, right? That's why it's bad policy. Wow.
I'm all for the government trying to help people who need it, but he did that as a political play, and everybody knows it. He's bleeding young people's support.
It hasn't worked. If you look at issues that young people care about, Gaza is like 15th out of 16th, and the only thing that comes in lower than Gaza is student loan forgiveness. So it hasn't worked as a motivator for the youth vote, half of which are out there chanting Genocide Joe. So,
well, he's throwing everything against the wall, okay? That's why they just came out with the announcement about marijuana and descheduling it because, hey, they're trying to get that youth vote. Okay, they're trying to buy the vote. They're trying to get people high, right? So high that they go and they vote for Joe Biden, right? They're trying everything that they can to try to get the youth vote. However, I don't think that is going to work. I just don't think it's going to work. I think that they have radicalized these individuals to the point where they can't be controlled by Democrats anymore. Okay, the Democrats let their beast get out of control. They're trying to get it back in line, but they can't. And I don't think they're going to be able to.
It's backfired, not just in terms of public policy, but in terms of the politics, too.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is winning the youth vote by, I think, 11 points.
According to CNN poll, yes.
That's pretty astounding to me.
It's a 42-point swing.
What do you make of that? You're closer to the youth
What
vote.
I make of that, a lot of it is, if you turn on your TV today, you see young people protesting, angry, fighting with cops. What you don't see is Donald Trump in a criminal trial. What you don't see is, one of his blue chip vice presidential candidates murdered a dog a week ago and is 2 weeks into talking about that story. All of these stories that could potentially be damaging for Republicans and help Joe Biden have fallen by the wayside because all of the attention is on these protesters and on these fights, on their behavior, and on the fact that a lot of people don't like what they see on the television. Biden was elected to push aside the chaos and the havoc of the Trump years. I think everybody can agree on that. It hasn't happened. You turn on your TV and you see what's going on these campuses, it hasn't happened. And that's one big reason why he's losing the vote, one big reason why he's losing
chaos.
Not only has it not happened, but it's gotten worse. Again, all the chaos under the Trump administration was a invention of the mainstream liberal media. It wasn't because Trump was chaotic. It's because the mainstream liberal media pretended that it was chaotic, right? The BLM riots were a creation of the mainstream liberal media. All of the chaos under Trump was from the left. The reason why we know this is because it didn't go away when Trump left office. It, in fact, got worse, okay? Because the mainstream liberal media, the left, all they know is how to create chaos in this country. That's all they do. Okay, that's all they do. And lo and behold, we still have it here when Biden's president and is worse than it has ever been in this country. This country has never been more divided. Joe Biden was supposed to be a unifier, but we are more divided than ever because of him. Okay, and that tells you where it's coming from. It's coming from the left. And I think that's what a lot of people realize. A lot of people being red-pilled and understanding, like, oh, wait. All that stuff that happened during the summer of love under Trump, that wasn't his fault. COVID, that wasn't Trump's fault. I mean, look at how many people died of COVID under Joe Biden. Oh, the economy, that wasn't Trump's fault. In fact, the economy before COVID was actually very good. Okay, Trump's economy was great before COVID. But after COVID, Biden gets in office. The economy is terrible. It got much worse. You're seeing Bidenomics. You're seeing liberal economics in action, right? Progressive spending. What has that gotten us? Gotten us massive inflation. People can barely afford to buy groceries. People can't even afford to buy fast food anymore, right? All of this stuff is a result of the Biden administration. And I think a lot of people realizing that they were tricked, hoodwinked, led astray, run amok by this narrative that, well, the cause of all the problems in our country is Trump. It's Trump's fault. When Biden got in office and all these problems got worse, name the issue. Name the issue. It got worse. Oh, Trump's going to cause world war. We didn't have any wars under Trump. But under Biden, we're dealing with multiple ones. All of the issues with the border, Trump. Well, look at Joe Biden's border. It's wide open. The border crisis is out of control, right? It doesn't matter what the issue is. It is much worse under Biden than it is under Trump, and the average person is seeing that. That's why the polls are the way they are right now.
Crisis in the Trump administration in a tweet, in a comment here and there.
Exactly.
Now it's chaos and crisis everywhere we look. At the border, on our college campuses. By the way, in our halls of Congress, 31 Democrats voted against the resolution last October 18th to condemn Hezbollah and Hamas. And the resolution clearly said, Bill, that they were concerned about institutions of higher education allowing sympathies for Hezbollah and Hamas, which our own government, Biden's government, Trump's government, have declared terrorist groups. And they specifically said in there it was going to hurt, make uncomfortable, if not worse, Jewish students with all this anti-Semitism. That was October 18th. 31 Democrats, including the most well-known young ones, a squad that doesn't do squat, for example, all voted against that resolution.
Well, I couldn't agree more.
This is the problem with Biden. Respectfully, I don't think people care about other things than young people. When are young people, whether they're single or married, ever going to be able to afford their first home, get on with the accoutrements of adult life? This economy is hurting them.
Yeah, well, again, I agree with Kellyanne Conway in the sense that the real issues, the economy, the border, crime, those things, yeah, I do care about those things. And I think on those things, Trump performs well. But what I don't care about is this idea that anti-Semitism is such a big problem in this country that we have to take away people's free speech rights. Again, I think that Republicans are making a massive mistake by getting on board with these bills, because I think what they really should be doing is just coming out here and saying, hey, this is a result of what Democrats have, created in this country, and don't do anything about it, right? Just sit back and just say, hey, this is Biden. Just point the finger at Biden and do nothing. Okay, that's what they actually really should be doing, and to actually do something about the real issues that people care about, right? Like, for example, the border, right? That's what they should be doing. Focus on those issues and stop focusing on trying to virtue signal for a foreign country in exchange for donations, because that's exactly what they're doing. But again, this is what happens when you really don't have any America first politicians in this country, right? You got two parties that really are America last, everybody else first. This is what you're stuck with, right? This is what you're stuck with, okay? And this is why, again, we really have to focus on electing people into office that are going to put America first, like truly going to put America first, and are going to think about all of these conflicts, all of our policies from a perspective of what is best for the American people, not what's best for a bunch of foreign entities that really don't care that much about America outside of how they can suck us dry of our resources and take advantage of us for their own personal gain. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.